Before I go to what should we eat, a small tip over here. People always ask me this question, and I think this is the biggest tip that I can give you today. Ryan, how much of water should a tennis player drink? It's a very simple equation. What you need to do is, whenever your players are playing, weigh them on a weighing scale. So step onto a weighing scale. So my weight is 71 kgs. Play your tennis, let's say for 1 or 2 hours. Okay? Take off your wet clothes. Very important. You need to take off the wet clothes, put on dry clothes, or weigh yourself in the nude or in swim trunks. And then weigh yourself after the session. This equation is important. Weight loss equal to liters of water consumed. Okay? Now the question is, if I am losing 3 kgs during my session, I can't drink 3 liters during the session. But what you can do is, if you have this knowledge, I tell every player, please buy your own sports water bottle. Don't use these mineral water bottles. Because if you have your own sports water bottle, you have to keep filling it. So if you have a liter bottle and you fill it 5 times a day, the player knows, Mr. Ryan, I drank 5 liters of water today. You know in the basic training you're losing 1.5 or 1 kg or 2 kgs. So number 1 criteria is replenish with 2 liters of water plus your additional load. So this is one way to determine how much of water. One observation, and this is my sincere request to you because I'm watching all games in India. Children do not drink. I was on court the other day and I was off to the airport and I stopped in at tennis academy. So I just stood inside, none of my kids knew I was coming in, and I was just watching them for 20 minutes. Then I asked the coach, when's the next break? He said, oh, they just took a break. And I looked at it and it was just the early morning session and all the water bottles were in the bags. Thirst is a signal that comes to the mind, to the body 1 hour after you're dehydrated. Hunger comes immediately. So if you're feeling hungry right now and saying, Ryan, it's lunchtime, alright, it's your stomach giving you an immediate signal. But your mind will not give you a signal that you're dehydrated right now. If you're feeling thirsty now, you got dehydrated on the tennis court when you were outside. So this is an important thing as a coach. Please constantly nag your kids. Drink, 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 drink. You know, they don't wait for them not to drink. He's picking up a bottle of water, he's feeling thirsty. That's great. Okay? Another thing I would like to tell you is when you do that weighing scale thing, let's say my weight is 70 kgs, alright? Okay, I'm 70 and I lose 2% of my body weight. How much is that? Any mathematical geniuses here? It's simple, yeah? It's 1.4 kgs. Now if I lose 2% of my body weight, I've already lost about 10 to 15% of my performance. This as a coach can represent a winning strategy. Prevent the loss of dehydration. But people allow themselves to get dehydrated. So it's very important that you do not lose more than 2%. And 2% means of your body weight is an indicator that you are losing. So hydration needs to keep happening. Why does a player need to drink plenty of fluids? 2%, as I said, anywhere from 15 to 30% loss of performance. Another thing is, many of you don't know this, you're all tennis coaches. Have you ever tasted your sweat? It's salty. It's salty because you lose 5 times the amount of sodium to potassium. Okay? This is where I'm going to attack most of the parents. I want to give something extremely natural for my child. Playing 4 hours of tennis a day is not natural for your child. Okay? So, Dadima's Nimbu Pani does not work. I repeat, Dadima's Nimbu Pani does not work. The nature's closest sports drink is coconut water. If they are carrying coconut water, great. Okay? But I am a huge believer of commercial sports drinks because in commercial sports drinks, the ratio of sodium to potassium is 5:1. Okay? So in that case, when you are losing 5 times the sodium to potassium, a normal lemonade will replenish only 2:1 or 3:1. So sooner or later you will cramp because you are losing the sodium. Now people ask, but sodium, potassium, how is it relevant? If you remember in school, there was a positive and negative for all these ions. Why positive and negative? Because when you want to contract a muscle and relax a muscle, you do it with an on and off signal. That on and off signal is conducted by electrolyte. Electro in Greek means electricity. So the brain sends a signal to the muscle through electricity, causes the muscle to contract and relax. What is cramping? Cramping is short circuit. The signal goes, but there is no electrolyte to conduct it. So there is a short circuit, cramping. So the importance of fluid is to also carry the electrolytes. Another thing